Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for life, voices true, St. James Church in the heart of the blue. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names.
All right.
Pushing through the night.
Well, welcome to our 75th anniversary conversations. We're here with Jim and Pat Tudor today to talk about their experiences here at St. James. So, how did you guys become members and when?
Well, we became members, as I shared with you, that we're going through a Bible study plan. I think it was, the pastor was leading it, Thursday nights or whenever night it was. And it was, I think, the Biesenthal, but it might not have been Biesenthal.
Oh,
It might have been before that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And he said, well, you know, members are the only ones who can get us. So I said, okay, well then I'll go.
Oh, you're a member to go to the Bible. So that was Pastor Feeney?
Yeah, Pastor Feeney.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was a great guy.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. So now, when was that? What year?
Probably about 78, 77.
76, 77. Jim started coming. A friend from work, Lee Reynolds, invited him.
Okay.
He was he got saved, and he led him to the Lord, and then he started taking him to different churches, and he liked this one. Might have been the first one.
Oh, wow.
And then I met Jim, and he invited me to, I think, Lenten services. And,
Oh, okay. Okay. So then, when did you guys get married?
1978.
1978. Okay. Here or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Of course.
Okay. And that was by Pastor Feeney?
Pastor Feeney.
Okay.
Pastor Feeney, and well, see, at that time, I was the Sunday school teacher for the youth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so most of them were involved in it a little bit, right?
Some of them, helped usher and stuff.
Yeah, well, I know. Was it Dave?
Yes.
Dave McClure and a couple of others. We had a little car, and he went out there and picked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
You don't remember that, huh?
No, I don't remember that
I
part.
remember that.
That's pretty funny.
That was neat.
And now, how many children do you have?
4.
4. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, they were all baptized here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
at one time, were members here.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay.
That's about it.
So, what roles and things have you done since you've been here at St. James?
I've been on the fellowship board a few times, and on the youth board many years ago, before our kids probably were even born, and then when they were real little, and been a Sunday school teacher
Okay.
several different times, and in the choir,
And you're a Sunday school teacher now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
and I used to help with VBS when my kids were young. I've always had different work schedules and stuff, and now. And what have you?
Well, I was Sunday school teacher for the youth for a while.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I think, what was it? Was it youth board we were on? And were we on the fellowship board together? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's been a while back. So.
Yeah.
But we were on the youth board, I know, for a while. And then later I was asked to join the elders group,
Elders. Yeah.
you know, and I don't really know when that was.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long time ago.
My
Yeah.
funny stories will be intermingled, but one thing funny, when he taught Sunday school, we lived in North Marion, and we always had cheap little cars, you know. One time it wouldn't start, or it was stuck in the snow or something, and he must have called church to let them know, and his Sunday school class, Dave McClure and a bunch of other kids came to our house
Oh,
to help him.
well, that's pretty cool.
Instead of, they loved it. Instead of being at Sunday school, So that was just funny. It was neat.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't remember that one
I know.
as
I
well.
just remember. It's like, oh,
Selective memory or something.
yeah.
Now, you sang in the choir too, didn't you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sang back when Warren Graff was here,
Oh, okay.
and he was
Yeah.
a neat guy to sing with. And then through the years, but
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Warren was our first
DCE.
DCE.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was here. What, 2 years?
He was here several years. They had several kids, and
Yeah, I can't
Two
remember
kids.
exactly how long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know that he was here when Pastor Feeney was here, and then when Pastor Feeney left, he was here when Pastor Carlson
Yes,
was here. At
sure
least
was.
For 1 or 2
Yeah,
years, wasn't
yeah.
Oh, okay.
he? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But he was really good.
Oh, okay.
yeah, he was
You know,
a neat guy.
He was good with the children, the youth. He
Right.
got them involved in different things and stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't remember all the things they did naturally, but
Oh, okay.
he was really good. Him and Debbie,
Yeah.
I think the class might have been in here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are some people that have had a big impact on you here?
From the church here,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say the McClures, Dwayne naturally,
Yeah.
and when Lee, and then I better not call him that. Maybe with Don and Dorothy McClure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can say grandma and grandpa. Everybody.
Yeah.
knows who that is,
Because
so
of
it's
that,
okay.
yeah, I do.
But that's what
okay.
they were all called. They were
Oh, okay.
really nice. There were so many others that have been here. Pastor Feeney, he was really good. Let me tell you. And well, Mark was too. In between Pastor Feeney and Pastor Carlson, we had a Pastor Heine.
Oh, okay. I've heard that name. Yeah.
He had been retired, and then he took us over for, I think, 3 years.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
They did it
that's a
differently
significant
back
amount of time.
then.
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, for an intern, that's a.
Yeah, I always
Pretty
thought
good
Pastor Carlson baptized Becca, but she found out he didn't come until after. So
Oh,
Pastor Heine
okay.
baptized my second two,
Oh, okay.
my last two.
Yeah.
But
So what Pastor Heine did.
yeah, I have a whole list of people,
Oh,
and
sure.
a lot of people have already mentioned a lot that made a big impact. McClure's for sure. Pat and Tom Sanford, that was a couple we knew from church, and they'd invite us out to their farm, and it was when I was pregnant, and they already had 3 kids, and so we really got along well with them, and they moved away. I think the hard time I have is I don't like change, and I'd make good friends and they'd move away. That happens so many times. But I know that's how life goes. And Carolyn Moses, it was kind of ironic that we had the 2 manufactured housing big companies in Marion, and both the families went here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Jim and Carolyn Moses, and then the Weltons. But she was a really neat lady. I think I worked with her on the fellowship board. I'm not really sure. I really liked her. And Karen Gannon. I don't know if anyone's mentioned her.
Yes.
My kids loved New Life. My sons especially, because I think she did the cooking. I'm not real sure, but they loved it. But one thing funny with her is she was planning a youth group, and it was kind of families too, a trip. And we went to Wildcat Creek in Kokomo. And she called and talked to the lady, said, there's a bunch of novices, we'll be okay. Oh, yeah, you'll be fine. Well, we'd had a bunch of rain. And we had been canoeing once, and we didn't know any better. We took all 4 kids. And luckily, my sister gave the 2 youngest life jackets. We had 3 kids because I was pregnant with Becca. I was like 4 months pregnant. So the 2 youngest had life jackets, and we had a cooler. Thought, we're going to be all day, Well, we kept overturning, and it was horrible, and we'd flipped over probably 6, 7 times.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it was, some of them were kind of traumatic, and then you'd be in water like up to my neck, trying to carry 2 kids. It was just awful. So anyway, at the very end, Marion and Betty Scott, they were another couple that we sat by in church, and they offered to take Sarah. She was like 4 probably, and she had a little life jacket on, and they were going just fine. Then they hit rapids, and everyone else is already done, but we have to keep stopping, and they flipped over for the first time, and they both turned upside down, and luckily she was able to grab her glasses, and Marion's just standing there looking for Sarah, and we're all looking for her, and the paddle went, and then the canoe was going on downstream, and he stopped it, and there she was. She came out from under it.
Oh my goodness.
That was so scary. And then when everyone saw the canoe and the paddle, they started coming after us. That was so scary. That was, we couldn't figure out where she was. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Goodness.
But, and they were a neat couple too, Marion and Betty Scott. Marion, when we had our big Easter breakfasts, he did the biscuits and gravy. And he, all day, all morning, they were a great couple. They were really neat. And
Greg and
yeah, their sons.
Greg was their son. Andy, Rob, is he the one that's in North Carolina or somewhere?
I don't know if that's but and Pastor Carlson, of course. Our kids grew up together. We went on the big mucking trip to New Orleans. Oh, yeah. But one thing neat also Pastor Carlson did was when abortion was really coming out big and the Lutherans for Life, I don't know if that was started yet at that point. It was probably 90, 91. Pat Boone had wrote a song a few years before, Let Me Live. And Pastor asked us if we wanted to, as a family, to sing it at church picnic. I'd love to find that VHS tape, but and we all did, and it was really. I mean, I really liked it. Most people came up and said they liked it. Of course, the kids. I don't know.
We did it up there.
We did it at the church. Well, we might have, but we did the church picnic too, and
I don't remember that part.
The kids it's a really neat thing, and they're like, I'm 1 month old, and one of them, I just listened to the song again, and he's like 3 months old, and he says, I think my mommy knows I'm here now. And it was like, how can anybody listen to this and still, I know there's different problems, but that was, and I hate it when pastors would leave, and it's like, you get attached to one, and it's like, oh my gosh. And of course, Phil Roselle, he really knew how to reach kids. And it's funny because I always thought of Warren Graff as a youth leader. I didn't know about DCEs and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because our grandson's going to do that now. He's going to college for that. And
to be a DCE?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Phil kept saying, I'm not a youth leader, but he knew how to reach every age there was, he was a neat guy. And when I first started coming here to church, I met my first grade teacher. And it was funny. And her kids, and she introduced me she wanted me to meet her daughter Anna because she was labor and delivery, and I was pregnant. And never saw her up there till I had Becca. And then, I was there a couple days with her, and I finally saw her up there, but we became good friends with their family. And my mom had a nervous breakdown when I was young, and so Mary Lerner, I will even see her student teacher that she had, and I haven't seen her for a couple years, but we'd see each other through the years and remember each other, and they were just a neat team, and it was always neat. But
Dave and Mary, Dave was one of the elders years ago, and they were really
the learners, yeah.
The learners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows who they are. Yeah. And Larry and Jeannie Rising. Some of my kids mentioned some of these names. They were a neat couple. They were older, and they were very nice to my kids. Some of the boys went out and did yard work for his wife and stuff. Okay. They were they weren't here a long time, but they made an impact.
Yeah.
And of course, Linda Kretzinger.
Yeah.
She was a great music teacher, or music chorus.
Right.
But and loved hearing her sing. But one thing I really liked too was she always had a prayer at the end. And sometimes you think, oh my gosh, how is she going to handle this? She had such finesse with the words she said and how she said it. It was just really neat.
Oh, wow.
I really miss her.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, okay. Don Welton. I knew him from church, but one time at Indiana Wesleyan, we had this special thing. The men's mission was, they were coming to do something, and his son was there, Dion, and he gave a little talk about how there was this guy he knew from prison who really needed a mentor. And he asked his dad, and his dad wasn't sure about it, and then he thought, I'm going to do it. And they ended up being, really good connection, and it was just really cool. And I'd never seen that side of him, and then to see him at church, and then to sit in front of him when my grandkids just loved him and Sigrid, So it was neat connection. I mean, to see people doing things outside of church, you just don't usually,
Right.
And Pastor Glander, I think he was here. He would substitute for whatever you call it when Pastor Carlson was gone sometimes.
Oh, okay. So that's
And then he came when we had a pastor called, and we had an interim pastor after Pastor Carlson left, and then this pastor changed his mind. And the interim pastor said, this is my day, Okay. So Pastor Glander came back, and he worked really well with the kids, like the King's Kids Time. He was a former mechanic, or he's a mechanic, and he just gave very interesting talks. Kids loved him.
Sure.
And then when he came back after Pastor Larman left, and he was what we needed at that time.
Sure. Sure.
And he said it's hard to come into a church when there's controversy and everything. And
Sure.
But I felt he was what we needed. He might not have been, but
Yeah.
we really liked him.
Yeah.
Well, we only knew him from the sermons. I always thought, I liked that he did a sermon once about Psalm 103:12, because that's one of my favorite verses and all. So,
Okay. Sure.
And then he did the stuff during COVID, which I'm sure you had to go through too with your church. That was real different.
COVID was very, very, very difficult.
Oh yeah,
It
challenging for everybody.
Was confusing because we'd never seen anything like it before in our lifetime, and we had nothing to draw upon. We were making it up as we went along.
Oh yeah, so, everybody did. Right. I know. I just found we're getting ready to move offices at work, and I found my COVID instructions working from home during COVID. I'm throwing these things away. Don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah.
That was very different.
Well, during COVID, that's when Pastor Glander, he told all of us, don't make calls on any of your people. Let me know who they are. I will make the calls.
Yeah.
It would just be one person.
As an elder. It was elders. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I think I got my whole list in.
Oh, okay.
She's never done.
So any stories or events or things that stand out in the use of history?
Well, I did the. And another thing, when we went to New Orleans, we had a lot of fun, and it was very different, seeing all that.
Oh, sure.
Well, there was me and Jane Klein were in our second house. It was the man was a pastor, maybe, or the wife was a doctor. One of them was a doctor, one of them was a pastor. And they had a big filing cabinet, and I was going to take the drawers out to dump this. It was so heavy.
Oh, this is when you guys were cleaning up?
Mucking the houses. And I couldn't get it open, so I asked Jim to help, and he got a two-wheeler, duct taped it on, pulled it, and it went right down on him, and
Oh.
he was on the ground. And me and Jane were trying to lift it off, and we couldn't. And I've got all this protective gear on, and a face mask and everything, and I go out and yell. I see Pastor Mark and the homeowner, and I'm out hollering for help, but they can't. So I take it off. I said, we need help, and they come in there without nothing on, and they get it off of him. And Jane thought he hurt his chest or something. Sorry, but he ended up just breaking his ankle, so he was very lucky. But they told him then that it's probably not a good idea to go to the emergency room. You'll be there, all day, all night.
Oh, yeah.
So he had to wait till he got home, but he had to walk around.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Dave Aaron told us,
Yeah.
he told us to get some ice and something and wrap it and keep it.
Yeah, he wrapped it up for him
and
really
cold,
good.
keep it wrapped. Then when we got up here,
Went to the emergency room right away.
I went to the emergency room, and then they had me to go back the next day, I think, and then
Yeah,
and
he said,
Dr. Andrews or
Edwards.
Edwards, yeah, Dr. Edwards, that's right.
He had
He was,
been very busy and said, you better come back tomorrow.
yeah. Then they put a couple screws in it and all
Yeah.
that,
Oh, yeah.
That was a
Wow. Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was fun. Then we, Pastor Carlson and let me see who went with me. Sarah went.
Oh.
Yeah, Sarah, and then a bunch of us went to New York for Under His Wings.
Oh, okay.
It was
About
we were at a St. John's Lutheran Church, I think it was.
Oh.
I think it was in the Queens area. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, borrowed someone's church car van from here to take all of us, or a bunch
Wow.
of us. Or am I thinking of the wrong place?
Well, we borrowed someone's van for the New Orleans
Okay,
trip.
that's different then.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't do that from there. That's right. Okay, George Emmerich went with us.
Diocese.
I know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Our oldest son, Jeremy, went the first year with them.
Jeannie
And then
Starr went.
they went.
Yeah, Jeremy had went there the year before us. Okay,
okay.
because when we went there, I think we were staying. What the place we were staying might have had Jeremy the year before.
Hmm.
They
They really enjoyed that. They went.
yeah.
I know my daughter Sarah dressed like a clown. They went to a park and
Oh,
did little
okay.
skits and stuff, and they really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's what you would do is you would dress up. Some of us would. No, I had to put a clown thing on, and then you would say whatever the script called for.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then you would try later just talking to them a little bit about Jesus,
Oh, sure.
and stuff like that. But it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It was an idea that I don't know if the pastor there had gotten the idea, or maybe the elder or whatever he was, and started that program. And it was the idea of, hey, let's get the message out
Sure. On the
to the
streets.
community.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had one day that we just, well, it might have been the Saturday just before we left, or the whatever, that we just went to New York so we could say we've been to New York,
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah, let me see, what restaurant did we go to? Hey, Josh might have been with me because I'm remembering it's been costing a lot.
Yep.
Anything has cost a lot with him.
But they really enjoyed that trip. So
Now,
Yeah.
Sarah
neat.
got, her and one of the not the learner girls, the Boucher
Christina
girls,
Boucher, yeah.
they went out walking by themselves.
Oh.
And got in a little trouble over that. 'Cause
Oh.
we were all told, listen,
Yeah.
remember where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You're at New York. You do not go walking by yourselves here.
Right. Right.
You are always with a group.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, hey, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was neat,
Yeah.
Probably never would have been to New York other than that.
Right.
I mean, because why?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
New York
Why would
City.
you? Yeah,
It's just,
exactly.
yeah, a lot of people think that's a neat place to go. And then I look at it and say, oh, man, that's just, that don't sound good to me.
So, any other stories?
Just I remember having a lot of fun. We both used to play softball, baseball
Oh, okay.
with the church, and I look back and I think some of them women were, a lot older than me, and they were still playing ball. I was young. I wouldn't be able to do that in my 50s, in the 60s, and I'm like, wow, they had a lot of gumption.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun playing ball and stuff.
So, what changes have you seen that have happened through the years?
Well, naturally, different pastors.
Yeah.
Well, this started when I think Pastor Feeney was here. We started a preschool.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Warren Graff might have had a lot to do with that, Warren and Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did, because I think they were the teachers for it at first. It was gone. We kept that going basically, well, quite a long time. It didn't get dropped until we went through some budget problems, but that was after we also started later a preschool. Wasn't that what it was?
Daycare.
Daycare. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The building, the new building, that was a big deal.
Sure.
And
Oh yeah, that was a biggie, building that, because the kitchen was back just about 2 doors down.
Right. Yeah, that was a great expansion. I mean, you can tell this doubled the size, or even more than that. Just
And all the fellowship hall was just that over there.
Oh, that's pretty.
Those. We use that for a lot of things now anyway.
Sure.
But back then, that was the only
everything.
fellowship hall you had.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know if it seemed that small back then, because now we're used to this bigger part.
Right, yeah.
Right. You get used to that.
But it was different. I can remember when we first started going here, that parking lot was gravel.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was for a while. And then I can remember talking to the pastor about it. And he said, well, I don't know if, and then suddenly it was paved.
Oh.
Yes. Which, was that Pastor Feeney?
Yeah.
Yeah, he told everyone during his sermon, he said, I apologize. I think this was the instance where he said, I had talked to the guys, but hadn't followed through or whatever, and came in and they were doing it. So, yeah. Because I don't think it was it was kind of on the bubble, whether or not they wanted to do that. And so they got it done.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness, though. I mean, it's so much nicer.
Yeah, it was the gravel, and then, I can imagine.
Could you imagine if it was still gravel now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
That would be rough.
I doubt if it would have stayed anyway, because they built one
Yeah.
that was, when did we build on that? 2000?
I thought it was like 96.
96?
96, 97 or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, that's what I've been told. So
Yeah.
That's what the records show.
Yeah.
Yes, it has been fun to hear the other people talk about the stories with, doing the blacktop out there for the kids. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a nice thing back there and all. It's
It has. It's really convenient.
nicer, all the things that we can do there.
Right.
Well, another thing that we had trouble with is like at Easter breakfast, they would serve it over there, but boy, you just find wherever you want to eat.
Oh.
Sometimes we would be over there.
Before they build on, you mean?
Yeah, pastor's office would have been right next here.
Right. That's
Okay. Sometimes we would have to eat like either in his office or just
my
somewhere.
Mother-daughter banquets were like that too. It was
Right.
Wow.
very, very full.
That's one reason why they had to build on.
Right.
Is to get something
Get some space
big enough to hold everything.
Yeah.
because that wasn't big enough, you
Wow.
know.
Yeah.
And now we do have that.
Right. Yeah. It makes a big difference. Yeah.
And the nice things that they've got out, you know, the playground and out back. I know in this type of weather or winter, you don't think of that,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
but that's there.
Yeah, we do have a lot of members that bring their kids and grandkids there, and,
Yeah.
and so it's been positive. And we have some older people that come in and walk in the gym, and then, for instance, tonight, well, probably pretty soon they'll be using it for pickleball on Thursday nights, the gym, and it's good sometimes to just go in there and shoot baskets.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah. The joke kind of probably was when they built it with the basketball courts was for Pastor Carlson. 'Cause
Ah.
he played basketball in college and he loved basketball.
Yeah.
Well, he would have, I don't know, some ministry people or something come
Yeah,
over, you know,
they
various
had
ministers
other people
around
play.
there.
Oh, okay.
And they would play basketball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a decent thing, you know.
Yeah. Get used to it. So how has St. James impacted your faith walk?
Well, I think it's been good for it. I mean, the Word of God, like when I first started coming here, Pastor Feeney spoke the Word of God. He explained things better than some of the other pastors in other type of churches wouldn't do.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes he would even tell you he knew Greek or something.
Right.
Oh, yeah, well, it's Greek to me, so forget it. But he was a good teacher,
Oh, okay.
you know, in what he was
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And then Mark was pretty much the same. Heine in between kept up pretty much
Right.
all the things. I can remember, this is the thing that, now this maybe we wouldn't always agree with, but Pastor Heine, one thing he had told us once was, you know, I believe in the gifts of the Holy Spirit and all that because the Holy Spirit does things. Said, now, when I was in college, we went to this tent meeting thing. And I saw that, and that was neat. But, you know, that was good, but I think it needs to be done how we can do it
Oh.
in our church, as opposed to that. And, you know, but I don't think there's anything wrong in it.
Right. Right.
You know, and to most of us that we're thinking, yeah, that's a good idea, some of that, he's like, yeah, it is. Some of it
Yeah.
just has to be done right.
Right.
That's
right.
all.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he was good on that.
One thing with me, I didn't grow up Lutheran. I mean, he didn't either, but I was Methodist, but we didn't go to church much. And teaching Sunday school, I remember the first time I taught about the Passover story, and I mean, I didn't know, I'd heard Passover, but I didn't know what it meant, you know?
Sure.
And when I was explaining it to the kids, I'm like, oh, that's what they mean. That's why the angel of death passed over, you know? And I just told that to my Sunday school class. And it's hard when you got to tell them, like, the last plague, why he let them go, you know?
Right.
And they're like, what? And then they were saying who that would be in their family, you know, the oldest son. And it's like,
yeah.
oh my gosh. So then I was talking to Mia. I said, remember what happened to Moses? And she knew. And I don't know if I even said that part, that he had him throw all the baby boys in the river, you know. And I said, and that river saved his life, you know. And,
Right.
you know, it was neat. But I've learned a lot through teaching them, you know. It's
That is true. It's sometimes the best way to learn
Yeah.
stuff is to teach it. Yeah.
And I think also watching other people when they have issues, problems, you know, things that happen, how they handle it, that really says a lot, you know, to me.
Yeah.
Other than the great sermons and everything,
Oh.
when Pastor Carlson was there, he was very, he always made you cry, you know.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes, he always did. He's very sensitive, and he just always, I don't like to cry in front of people, so it's like, but yeah, it's neat, different.
Wow. Cool. Let's see what happens.
Had a guest pastor, I think, and was here once and said, King's Kid message is normally the best one because that's the one that's just telling them normally the gospel. That's
Right,
it.
right.
And that is so
Yeah,
good.
you have to simplify it, basically break it down.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it is true.
Can't remember what guest pastor it was, though.
Yeah.
So, what hopes do you have for St. James' future?
I would like to see it get, some of the children that grew up here to start coming back more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would really raise our membership some
yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
And other than that, to keep doing basically what we're doing,
Okay.
teaching and preaching the Word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it's all about. It's
Right.
Jesus. It's not about us. It's about Him.
Right. Right. That's true.
Well, one thing I hope I have that be for our future that not everybody would agree with, but I wish we would get a youth leader, a DCE, something. I just feel we need that would be good for the kids and good for the members.
Yeah.
And I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is optimal. It's a hard thing to get just because of costs today. They're just
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
astronomical. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Would be a good goal.
It would. Yeah. I just that's a desire. That's a
Sure.
hope.
Sure.
A dream.
Well, the thing would be if it's God's will for us to get it,
Yeah, it'll
the
happen.
finances will be there.
Right.
And the cost, back when we called Warren Graff, I'm sure that seemed pretty steep back
Yeah.
then.
Right.
Yeah.
And in today's time, it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Right.
And when
Right.
we called Phil Roselle, the same thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And now Phil, he stayed here forever.
Right.
You know,
Right.
well, we still got Joyce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yes, she is. Enjoyed her. Was anything I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or anything else you wanted to share that we didn't cover?
I think I'm good. How about you?
Pretty well.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for our 75th anniversary conversations, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for life, voices true, St. James Church in the heart of the blue. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names, pushing through the night, feeling small, seeking the answers stall, windows of gray, stained with hue, where mission shines through. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names, heartbeats pounding, truth revealed. In the silence, wounds are healed. Faith in motion. motion.